Meeting of Monday, April 8th, 2024. This meeting is being held in the Harvey Hearing Room at the Town Hall, 1 Metcalf Square. And it is also being televised via Zoom and via WCAT. May I have the roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri? Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Here.
Mr. Purinton?
Here.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Present. Please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Purinton, can you lead us?
I
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any public comment on the Zoom?
You're asking me. We do not.
Seeing none, we do have delegates and visitors tonight. We have the privilege of welcoming Mark McEnany, the principal of the William P. Gorman Fort Banks, and Andrea O'Leary, the principal of the Cummings School, to give us an update on the school improvement plans. Mr. McEnany, you're going to lead us off?
I am.
Wonderful, thank
The
you.
luxury of being the youngest school in the district. Good evening. Thank you for having Ms. O'Leary and I and me back to highlight our latest school improvement plans. I just want to begin by saying that this current school improvement plan is one that was inherited by the administration, myself, last year, or this year, as it's in its third year of a three-year plan. So we're on our last year. There's been a lot accomplished during the past 2 years to include a more robust student assessment schedule in all areas within the elementary curriculum, data collection systems, student interventions, along with enhanced safety protocols. There's still areas within this plan that's a work in progress, with some being close to being attained. So as I begin to highlight the through lines that are tied to the GFB and the district goals, there will be connections tied to why we're investing and prioritizing our time and efforts. Objective number one, which focuses on high quality instruction and curriculum, is at the crux of everything we do at the Fort. Prioritizing the needs of all students requires an instructional and program schedule, ensuring that all students receive in-class core instruction that we like to term as Tier 1 instruction. This is a goal with priority at the Fort, as our problem of practice has led us to the fact that students are having difficulty comprehending academic content for the purpose of using the information being taught in classrooms through reading, writing, speaking, and listening activities with the goal of making adequate progress. Staff at the Fort are also seeing challenges within service delivery and intervention blocks within reading and multilingual instruction. These challenges can be addressed through thoughtful, deliberate scheduling that gives equitable student access to reading and multilingual specialists, all the while remaining compliant to the time on learning requirements handed down by the DESE. Our second goal is tied to the district objective, focused on providing students with appropriate instructional tools to give them a more personalized learning experience. The approach to this will enable the Fort to purchase dedicated translation devices for all classrooms that allow our EL students and teachers to better participate and communicate while collaborating and socializing with their peers. Specific informational tools will also provide teacher systems for tracking, responding to, and communicating student behaviors. And moving on to the third and last remaining level-based goals lead us toward the path of consistent implementation of high-quality curriculum and instructional practices. Our goal is to provide common educational experience for all students and staff. Our elementary structure of only one pre-K school can be limiting and challenging when you think about professional development and job-alike collaboration experiences. Finally, it's always the goal to provide students with similar academic experiences. This particularly benefits students when outside of school, when they're asked to share or collaborate with one another on certain assignments. Moving on to objective number 2, providing safe and welcoming environments for all students. It's our goal at the GFB to be as prepared as possible, ensuring the safety for all bodies at the fort is prioritized and practiced often and when appropriate. Social emotional learning has also taken center stage over the past few years, especially now having just dug out of COVID. Also, providing explicit instruction in the area of social emotional learning has taken a narrow path when implementing whole school positive behavioral interventions and supports. Communicating these systems of support to the greater community and staff and families adds a collaborative approach to this work, giving the adults at home the structure and common language when parenting. All of our decisions at the GFB are student-centered when identifying and recommending supports and interventions. The district has currently been working with fellows from Boston College, establishing criteria for whole student reviews. When looking at and identifying students for specific interventions related to their academic and social emotional growth and needs. We are involved in this work as the Winthrop Public Schools are committed to using this specialized resources in social work, classroom teachers, and other service providers with a child-focused lens to drive this work. Staying with objective number 2, we have a few of them. Our goal at the fort is to equip specialized staff and ESPs with the skills, knowledge, and training when faced when students in crisis are in need of keeping safe and de-escalating, with the intent to guide them back into the classroom in a timely manner. In the past, once certified staff certifications expired with no plan to keep them current due to, there was no plan to keep them current due to staffing and coverage challenges at the school level. This goal prioritizes alternative approaches to make this recertification process a reality by identifying optimal times during the year for further training opportunities, to include using staff professional development days and even scheduling sessions on weekends. 2.5 here in the middle is all about establishing and maintaining working professional relationships with town officials and organizations for the sake of networking when it comes to conducting facilities requests, safety drills, building evacuations, and procedures. With our final goal at the fort, that's connected to objective number 2, it prioritizes the need to convene the leadership team when developing student behavior plans, social emotional learning, and academic expectations, all with a child-focused lens, seeing every child for who they are and what they represent. The last objective we have is centered around professional cultures and community engagement. While you'll notice a similar or identical goal, 3.2 for example, it's important to strengthen family engagement while developing better, more accessible communication for families whose first language is not English. We strive at the fort to create inclusive, welcoming systems, structures, and resources that will ultimately create a community who feels welcomed and part of the GFB family. So this concludes my review of the 2024 Fort School Improvement Plan. As I stated in the beginning, this is the last year of the plan. It's my intent to gather the GFB administration and staff leadership team sometime in late August with the purpose of developing a new improvement plan for the next 3 years going into 2027. Thanks for your continued support. Ms. O'Leary's here to highlight ATC School Improvement Plan. Get up here, Gimpy.
Let me pause and ask if there are any questions on this. Yes.
Yeah, actually I have 2. So the first one relates to the fact that you suggested these were in an inherited set of plans. And so I do realize you're a new principal, but I'm just curious, where can we see sort of your stamp on this particular set since you started in September? So I guess I'm wondering what are the things that you feel like you've had some input and been able to shape in this plan that's in front of us?
I think restructuring our scheduling program with service providers and specialists specifically in reading and multilingual instruction, really taking a look at that and taking a look at how we look at student data. We've been working a lot with Assistant Superintendent and taking a look at how we look at multilingual learners and the areas in which they're excelling. So, providing a schedule that is narrowed, focused, and that makes sense, that gives students access to these service providers in order to give them the services that they need. This has required us to look at our master schedule within the building and to rearrange it to create better opportunities for students to receive Tier 1 instruction. A majority of our students. We're looking for every student to receive some sort of Tier 1 instruction during the day, which is not an easy feat given all the services and needs that our children come with.
I have a second question, but it's a little, it's not specifically about the school improvement plan. So if there are other questions with the school improvement plan, I can wait.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's related to the, just this question of inclusivity. I know that you've been able to have a pretty productive partnership with the FKO after-school program, and I was just sort of wondering, since I know this is I believe this is the first year that that's started, and I was just wondering if you could tell us how that partnership is going. And part of the reason I ask is because I know there's such a need in the community for quality after-school care and for kids to be able to stay at the school that they're going to. I was really pleased to see that partnership get established, and so I'm just curious sort of how this is all going and what does the future look like for that partnership?
I think it's going great. We want to give children and families access to after-school activities, and we want to provide that space for them. And it comes with a caveat because it requires space and resources to keep our schools clean after hours, especially when our programs are using additional space throughout the building. And so, setting those expectations and getting to know one another is really important. And I think that we've had a really great working relationship this year, and I think we're moving forward into supporting any summer program that they might have, and but it's a constant collaborative effort in being open and clear about our expectations about the use of the building and what their expectations are.
Yeah, as I said, I'm just happy to hear that because I know there's such a need, for spaces and quality after-school care. So thank you.
Sure. Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I do have one more.
Yes.
Sorry, Ms. O'Leary. Would you be able to speak a bit more to the program group that you're working with from BC and that program?
So yeah, and again, this is my first year walking into it. It's called S3. It's a student support services group where we're trying to build in a holistic approach to looking at student through our child study process. We call it a teacher support team, or through our TST process, and it's really looking at the child and their needs, anywhere from their family makeup to their educational, their social emotional needs, all the way down to where they fall in their family, like where are they, their birth lineage, like are they the first child, are they the only child, they have siblings, and all this is driven by these fellows of BC, and they've been leading the district because it's a K through 12 effort that we've all embarked on, and what it's going to be is a tracking system, individual student tracking system from year to year, school to school, all the way throughout and into high school. Yeah, it's really great work. The fellows are amazing professionals and really leading this work and guiding us through the process. We have release time for some of our teachers who are involved in the process, where we meet as a school, we meet as individual teams, we also meet as a district, we meet as administrators, or we meet with the full teams in a greater group throughout the year.
Nice, thank you.
Yep, and I'm sure Andrea will be able to speak to a little bit more of that about this as far as our timing, as far as moving forward, and where we are, because we're all kind of, when I walked into this, and we're looking to fully implement, looking at every child. I'm always one to be cautious and taking baby steps in the process and wanting to understand what the process is all about and where our time and efforts are going to go. So at the fort, we went a little bit slower this year, while other schools and teams probably are moving a little bit quicker.
No problem. Great, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate you setting the tone for all the other schools.
Of course.
Beginning of the path.
Yeah.
Come on up. Thank you.
Limp up.
It's not a lot of steps, it's okay. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Without falling. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. I know that you have a copy in front of you, and so I have the same, you've seen this, but I also have the same district objectives. And so what I wanted to do is kind of review that a little bit, looking at the same indicators that everyone else has had, but I also created a bit of a narrative so I can speak to looking at last year versus this year and some of the changes. So I will highlight in that way while following along with this, but if you have any specific questions, you can let me know. So as far as number one, high quality, rigorous instruction and curriculum goals, since adapting this response from COVID-19, we found success in many research-based approved online platforms. So you will notice through a lot of my plan, it's utilizing research-based online programs to support the work that is going on. And I wanted to highlight, we're using illustrative math, we're using stick and split, we're using Zern, Braining Camp. So some of these online platforms are collecting real online data that we can use to drive our instruction. And that's one of the first pieces that we have. The second one is specifically using illustrative math. And I know that the middle school spoke about it, and I know that Gorman Fort Banks is speaking about it. We are in year 3, and we really have seen improvements in our MCAS scores from the last time that I was here discussing that information with you. So combining the online programs and the new research-based math program, we have seen an improvement. So we want to make sure that we continue to implement these rigorous curriculum-based research programs that we have. I also wanted to highlight that it's important for us, and we've spent some time talking about, and today we actually had one of our final meetings of implementing a comprehensive reading program, and that has definitely been something that has been on my plan for a few years. And we've been very fortunate to work with the Gorman Fort Banks, and hopefully in the very near future we will be announcing a K-5 reading-based program that is based in the same research-based standards, curriculum, and it will be a nice way for K through 5 to really hone in and make sure that we're looking at some of the science of reading and, you know, making sure that we're making sure students are getting all five components. Then other piece for our number one is our response to intervention model. And what we have done over the past 2 years and hope to continue to do, based on our numbers and what was happening, I did a very strong focus in 4th and 5th grade on math for our response to intervention, and we had an interventionist go in. My 3rd graders were having reading based on a lot of different reasons. And so we will continue to provide that response to intervention, make sure that after students receive their Tier 1 instruction, we can really utilize the time that they need and make sure it's specific for them. If you go to number 2, which is teaching all students, I think that I wanted to highlight in response to many mental health issues. It's important for us to retain our adjustment counselors, and we have been very, very blessed to have an SEL specialist as well. And I think for grades 3 through 5, that's really important. So making sure that we have resources for students as well as staff that are needed throughout the year. And we have taken multiple different smaller programs and put them together to form a curriculum. And I think that's a really important expectation in grades 3, 4, and 5 is keeping the adjustment counselors and the SEL specialist so that we have common language and we have a strong system of behavior, rewards, and consequences if necessary using a progressive discipline model. The next part, I think, is that we have been very blessed, and I think you mentioned this earlier, to have the connection with 21st Century. So we really have the ability to look at the programs that are in place right now and bring them into the after-school program as well. So we're very fortunate to have that within our school, and I think that ties very well to this goal of teaching all students in a safe and learning environment. I think that we have spent some time this year, and one of the things that is important is the building and grounds. And we know that our school is 21 years old, so we're starting to look at some of those things and what that will look like, and doing building walkthroughs and trying to prioritize some capital improvements as far as that goes, because we want to maintain the safety, but we also want to maintain a positive and welcoming learning environment for all. We also want to maintain these beautiful schools that we have, and thinking a little bit about, after 20 years, what does that look like and how might we maintain those things. The next one is expanded access to internet for our students, and anyone that comes to my curriculum nights knows that this is a big deal. I think that students are very easily getting technology in their hands much earlier, and what to do with it and how that is controlling not only their outside of their school day, but trickling into school. So we have some community partnerships with different places to talk about parent and student safety. I know that there was the DA's office. I know we had some guest speakers. I know that we talk about it in our SEL programming. I know we talk about it in classrooms, and really beginning at grades 3 through 5 to talk about what that digital footprint looks like and how to ensure that children in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade are beginning to understand and take a little bit of responsibility for that. So that has also been a goal in this plan that fits under this. And if you go to number 3, which is our professional culture and community, I think that Mr. McEnany spoke also about communication between administrators, school leaders, and staff. And I think providing professional development that is relevant and that is going to raise them up is really important. And I think that we spent some time this year at the ATC sort of doing an overview of multiple different things. We talked about the science of reading and professional development. We talked about an overview of the different learning styles. We talked about our EL students. We talked about our new science program. So making sure that the professional development is specifically geared towards supporting our students, who then can support our staff. We also did a training on some de-escalation strategies and how to support teachers to support their students as far as that goes. We have a lot of other community organizations. We have Mothers Out Front, we have MWRA, we have had guest speakers. We are having Wendy Millar-Page come to talk about recycling. We've had the DA's office. So I think that bringing some of the outside people in and having our community relationships built is really important for students our age, to make them feel part of the community and start to take responsibility for that. We also have a strong relationship with the Winthrop Public Library, which has gone really well. And I think our next piece, which we've been talking quite a bit about, is expanding our ML population. And the more students that we get, we want to make sure that we can maintain and retain quality teachers and create an environment where all students feel welcome. And I think that's a very important piece of this process and this program, because we have students and we want to make sure that every student feels understood. We had some guest speakers come in and speak to some of our 4th and 5th grader Spanish boys, because they were feeling frustrated with why do I have to learn English and why is this important? So we talked about being multilingual and what that looks like. So I think really looking at where the students are and trying to move them forward, that's part of what we did here. Also including our National Geographic and our Elevations program to allow all staff to understand that all students are their students, and I think that's a really important piece that we've been looking through. So looking at our objectives, I kind of narrowed down for you some of the specific things that have been going on in our school.
Questions? Yes,
Hi.
Mr. Pierre.
Hi. To follow up on the question I asked Mr. McInerney, how have you seen the S3 program help your school?
It's excellent. So he did come in because we started the training last year, and he really caught up very quickly. But I think that what we have done in our school is, last year it was a lot about creating the programming and what the document is going to look like and those types of things. This year we have done, at my school specifically, we have done a grade 3, a grade 4, and a grade 5 classroom. And we have looked at a whole child review on each child. And then we've gone back and we have reviewed the information that we gathered, and we talk a little bit about next steps. Our plan moving forward is next year those students will spread out into multiple classrooms, and that will give more teachers the opportunity to practice what this S3 looks like. And I think that in the past, we were looking at a student and bringing them up for SST or TST, whatever the acronym is for student support. And we were talking about all of the things that we might be concerned about. I think this is a great way to look at the whole child and say, this is what the child is successful at. This is what the child might need, but if this child is successful here, how can we add additional supports? It's also a way to sort of take a look at your whole class and get to know them. And so we want to start in the fall and say, let's build this relationship with parents and families, and let's see what we can do for all students. So not just students that there are concerns, behavioral, educational, emotional concerns. This is all students, and we'll be able to really hit the ground running. The next year's teacher will receive it and say, oh, I see that Annabelle really likes art, and so I can make sure that I can do that. And I can make sure there's an art class that I could get her involved in. So those types of things I think are really important. And it's a great way for us to look at our classrooms, but also look at our school and build that from school to school. And I think that's the process that we're in right now, and we do have great support systems.
Excellent, thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate you filling in what Mr. McInerney has to do at GFB.
He's starting the process,
Brings
the poor
on
guy.
to how it will, but how it will help out
Right.
the future grades.
Right, and I think it's important for us to kind of get a handle on it and make sure that we're doing it in a way that represents what's most important on the document. And that's gonna take practice.
A lot of refining as well.
Exactly, exactly.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Can I just pay a compliment? It's truly not a question at all. I just realized I brought my,
From the MWI.
yes, my daughter brought this
Yes.
home. So,
Yes.
so I just really wanted to pay a compliment to you on the community partnerships, bringing in these, I've been thinking a lot when you were talking about how it's really clear to me, and again, I have a daughter who's in third grade, so I mean, I have like a firsthand seat to everything that you're doing, but I'm really impressed by how the school is trying to create citizens, right? Responsible citizens who, don't overuse water, who think about recycling, who are trying to be digital citizens. I think obviously we as a committee spend a lot of time thinking about academic rigor and the importance of schools, but something that, and again, I have a first, I'm not saying that other schools aren't doing as great of a job as you all are, but I just think having a sort of a front row seat to the tone and the ethos of your school, I just wanted to pay you a compliment. I think it's a really lovely place.
Thank you, and I think it's so important that they're becoming more independent, and I think that is such a main part of grades 3 through 5. We're sending them to middle school, which is, we're hoping we're building citizens, and we're hoping we're working on their emotional health, and we want them to be academically strong, but we want them to handle situations as they come up, and I think that's a really important, and I think that, we create that culture in the school, so, thank you.
I do have a question. Since we asked these to be earlier because we wanted to
Yes.
be able to include them in our budget planning.
Yes.
Are there budget concerns that you have that would, either the budget that you need in order to make this as successful as it can be, or concerns that if there are things that you don't have,
I
you'll be
think
more
that-
challenged?
I think it's really important when we spend time looking at the budget and we talk about a level service budget and what that means. I think that we have a lot of excellent things in place, and I know that financially it's difficult, and I know there could be cuts. It's hard to think about what you would cut. And it's hard to think about what isn't important, because you look at the special education department, and that's so important, and you look at the ML department, and that's so important, and you look at the reading teachers, and that's so important, and you look at the classroom teachers, and you can't take away from any one pocket. And you have to understand that all of these pockets make the whole school. So I think that's the piece that is difficult, and I wouldn't want to be in your shoes, because I don't think there is a spot that you could say, we could let this go, because we can't. And so I think that's the hardest piece.
That was very well said. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
For saying it.
Well, I also wonder, on the flip side, not looking at what would be cut, what would you want to see added so that you have more progress towards the school?
Well, we
Okay.
did talk a little bit about, and we did talk, Lisa gave us some information about what a needs budget might be. And I think that with our ML population, it would be amazing to have another ML teacher. I think with our students coming up and not having the reading program yet, but we're getting it, another reading teacher. So, I think that having band back would be amazing. I think that, working some more with S3 and giving teachers time to really focus on that, and we want all teachers to hone their skills, and we want this to be an observable document that makes sense. Those are things that we want to see, but if you ask me if I have to keep a third grade teacher or if I have to figure out how to do S3, I'll do S3 so I can keep the teacher. Do you know what I mean? So I think those things, of course, everybody has this dream and all of these wonderful things that they want. But I think that the safety and security and maintaining what we have in our schools is exactly where we need to be. I've been around for a while, so I kind of know the Winthrop budget, but, you know.
I appreciate that. I think it's important for people to understand what could happen versus with what we have and versus where we are.
Right, and I think if you look at what our basic needs budget is, we have taken a lot of hits over the years. I can speak personally to that, and I don't know what the next step would be. And I think that is very scary, looking at a whole building full of people.
Okay. Mr. McEnany, do you have anything to add on that?
I don't. Ms. O'Leary said it very eloquently.
Very good. And with that, may I have a motion to approve all 4 school improvement plans as they were presented?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Berry, second by Mr. Purinton. Any discussion? Hearing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Purinton?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. And I thank our guests for being here, and feel free to stay if you would like, or go about your
Go watch a
business.
lacrosse game, or, yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for the vote to the committee. This was an extraordinarily large amount of work for the staff to really be articulate and clear with the committee, but with the community as well. You know, so the new path we've taken and the new structure we've decided to utilize really speaks to us all rowing in the same direction, and I think that's huge and transparent. And these poor people were put through revision after revision after revision, but I think they're in a place where next year it will be easier. We will be, as Mr. McEnany said, looking at our strategic plan, which was a 3-year plan, which drives your school improvement plans, which drives everything else that we do. So we will be looking at that this summer as a group. So more to come on that, but I thank you for taking the time and wanting to hear the information, because for us, we talk all day long to each other. We get sick of hearing each other, but it's nice to be able to share that good work with others, so I appreciate that.
Very good, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 25th, 2024?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Ms. Petrie, second by Ms. Berry. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Although any abstentions or objections? Motion passes. May I have a motion for warrant SVW 24-16 in the amount of $207,108.81?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Berry, second by Ms. Petrie. Any discussion? Hearing none, may I have a roll call?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Purinton?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion for payroll warrant SPW 24-19 in the amount of $930,807.06?
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Ms. Petrie, second by Ms. Berry. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Purinton?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion for payroll warrant SPW 24-20 in the amount of $908,332.27?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Petrie, second by Ms. Berry. Any discussion? Hearing none, may I have a roll call?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Purinton?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion to pay prior year invoices in the amount of $7,596.11?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Petrie, second by Ms. Leonard. Any discussion? Hearing none, may I have a roll call?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Purinton?
Abstain.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion for a budget transfer in the amount of $5,000?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Petrie, second by Ms. Berry. Any discussion? Hearing none, may I have a roll call?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Purinton?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion for budget transfer in the amount of $20,000?
Motion.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Purinton, second by Ms. Leonard. Any discussion? Hearing none, may I have a roll call?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Purinton?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. On buildings and grounds, we have a request from the Winthrop Youth Lacrosse for the youth lacrosse games. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Petrie, second by Mr. Purinton. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. Do we have a budget subcommittee report?
Yes. Still in discussions.
Ongoing.
Not a lot to talk about, just ongoing, and there'll be another meeting next week, and hopefully we'll have some final numbers and get a budget for the next meeting to present to the town council.
Okay, great, thank you for that good work. Do we have any homeschool applications?
We do not have any.
Appointments, resignations, or retirements?
We have none?
And postings?
Yes. World language teacher at the Winthrop Middle School, food service worker summer positions at the William P. Gorman Fort Bank School. Also summer learning academy positions at both the Gorman Fort Banks and the Arthur T. Cummings. We have no leaves of absence. I can't believe we're talking about the summer already. It's concerning.
Okay, under new business, we need to take up a motion regarding school choice. This is something that we are required to vote on every year. If we do not vote to not allow school choice, we will automatically become a school choice school, which would allow anybody who is in that program to come to our schools and vice versa. Our recent approach has been out of concern for the space of the school, we have not approved this. But before I get to discussion, can I have a motion to not approve school choice?
Motion.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Petrie, motion by Ms. Berry, second by Ms. Petrie. Any discussion?
Just for clarity, so this vote, if you were to vote no, would vote not to allow school choice, for us to be a school choice accepting facility, that does not impact any students from Winthrop who want to go to another school that does accept school choice. So I think that's an important clarifying statement. So voting against us becoming a school choice school community, just states that we will not be taking students from other communities who don't live in Winthrop to attend our public school at any grade level. But any child here, if Beverly Public Schools has school choice, and a parent works in Beverly and wants to participate in school choice in Beverly, they would still be allowed to do that. So super important just to make a note that you're not impacting students going out, only students coming in.
Thank you for that clarification. Any further discussion?
My concerns with school choice have been and continue to be the space in our buildings, and the state reimbursement rate per student does not offset how much this district pays to educate per student. So there's a financial gap there as well.
So just for clarity on the motion, so is the motion to not approve school choice, which
It
would mean a
is.
yes vote would not approve school choice?
Yes.
Yes.
Just for my own brain.
Yes, no, that is a very, it is not typical wording, but yes, this is to not approve school choice.
Motion is to reject school choice, yeah?
That would be another. I think,
Action word? Yes.
well, I think it's tied to how the state wants us to
Asks you
phrase
to
it,
vote,
so,
right.
but yes, essentially it is not approve / reject school choice. May I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Purinton?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. Motion passes, which means we will not have school choice. I would also like a motion to vote on the 2024-2025 school committee meeting dates. A motion to approve the proposed 2024-2025 dates.
Motion.
Second?
Motion by Ms. Petrie, second by Ms. Leonard. Any discussion?
The December meeting falls right before school break, but I'm sure that might be a little, I don't know, might be dicey for some of the members of the school committee, but otherwise I think the dates look good.
I was going to point out the same one, that the 23rd is the first day of school vacation.
Is it, we can always adjust that. What is
First
it?
day of what? I'm sorry.
Isn't it the first day of school vacation based on
I
the?
believe we have school on the 23rd.
I thought we did.
So, but, yeah, by the
Look
time
at
you get to a
December
meeting,
dates.
it would be technically vacation if it was on the 23rd.
I'll have to look at the calendar again. I thought we had, I thought we had voted last meeting to, that the 23rd and the 24th, Monday, Tuesday were off.
I have to look
I
at the
think you're
calendar.
right,
I
it
don't
was
have it in
Monday,
front of me.
yes, because, and then
'Cause
we
it
go
was-
back on the
'cause
Thursday, Friday, the
the-
following week.
Yeah, the discussion led to, what about the Thursday, Friday after school to make it 2 full weeks?
Right.
So the 23rd is a vacation day.
Okay. So we can move that. We always have to double check with payroll and make sure
Sure.
what cycle we're hitting. So you could ask to amend that motion and make it the 23rd. Of course, I'm in 2023, so that's not helping anybody. Let's go to, so if we met on the 9th and
So,
could do the, I don't know if you can go as far as the 30th.
can we go from the 18th? Well, that would be a long stretch, the 18th to the
Yeah.
16th, and just have one in December?
I think it's fine.
One in December?
Payroll goes through no matter what. It's just the vendor warrant that
Okay.
would be delayed, but
So go
it's
to
delayed
one
around the
meeting in
holiday
December?
anyways, It's fine.
One meeting in December, Dylan?
That's-
On the 18th, did you say?
Yeah.
Because if you skip the 23rd, you go to the 30th, and it's
Right.
Was that?
And then we're still on break. What if we,
What about just having,
what about if it were the second week in December, the second Monday in December instead of the
The
first?
16th?
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
wondering about too.
Is
Just
that,
have that one meeting in
is that
December?
Yeah.
enough time?
Okay.
Okay, that's, yeah, we
Okay.
can do that, so you can amend the motion to just change that date.
So can I have an amendment to the motion to make that December 16th?
motion?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Purinton, second by Ms. Petrie. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, can we have a vote on the amendment, a voice vote on the amendment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? None. Any discussion, further discussion?
Can I just ask, and I could be completely misremembering this, but I thought last summer we only met once in July and once in August.
That
We
is
did.
true.
So I think
However-
with the leap year, we're running into issues in July with payroll, correct?
It's more for the vendors.
A vendor,
So it's
sorry.
the vendor warrant. So if we're going a month without a vendor warrant, we're gonna get a lot of angry vendors. Gotcha.
It could be it could be a very short, a warrant meeting, as opposed to a full school committee meeting.
That's fine, totally, that sounds fine.
Okay, with no other discussion, all in favor of the calendar as amended?
Aye.
Any abstentions or nays? Ayes have it, motion is approved, calendar is adopted. We have no unfinished business. We do, however, have public relations.
Which I've since misplaced. There we go. Just a couple. Congratulations to Petey Silverman for being named Boston Herald All-Scholastic. Congratulations to another hockey player on the girls' team, Adriana Rosado, for being selected to play on the MSHCA Hockey Night in Boston Senior Girl All-Star Game, and Petey Silverman for being selected to play in the same Hockey Night in Boston for Boys All-Stars. Those are two great games. The 32nd Winthrop Chamber and Community Awards are being held on April 27th at the Cottage Park Yacht Club. Christopher Farnsworth and Erica Foley are receiving the Educational Excellence Award. Gabriella Bonapani and Nick Capuccio are receiving the Youth Leaderships Award. You can contact the Yacht Club to purchase tickets. Certainly give you that phone number, 846-9898, that's CPYC. Winthrop Middle School Drama Society is going to present When Bad Things Happen to Good Actors on Friday, May 3rd and Saturday, May 4th at 7 o'clock at the Neil Shapiro Center for Performing Arts. Tickets can be purchased online, and they are only $5. The Winthrop High School has formed a girls' flag football team. I don't know if you guys knew about this, but it's a pilot program, self-funded. Students are paying for their user fee, which is funding the program, and they will be playing in the Massachusetts League that's run by the New England Patriots. It's pretty cool. Johnny Cross is a teacher in the life skills classroom at Winthrop High School. This was his brainchild, and he has quite a few girls participating and loving it. So it's great to give another activity for the kids to get involved in. Students at Winthrop High School's DigVid and Graphic Design course and the Advanced Art class recently displayed and sold their art and photography at the Book Depot to raise money for Survivors by the Sea. So that was pretty awesome to see that. And the sophomore junior social was Saturday night. It was a great night for the kids. I have heard nothing different, and hopefully I won't. They had a great time, so, and thank you to all the chaperones and parents and staff from the high school that attended that and took care of all of our students. Appreciate that. That's all I have.
Wonderful. Any other public relations? Hearing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Berry, second by Ms. Petrie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Ayes have it. Motion passes. We are adjourned.